All right, everyone, welcome back to the Be Healthy and Thrive podcast. It is Brianna here, your host. I'm a holistic health and life coach and essential oils educator. And again, for part two, I have with me Hannah Parker, who's a thyroid nutrition coach. And today we are talking about we've been breaking up the different areas of how you can cleanse and detox naturally. And today we're talking about nutrition and exercise. So we're both going to share a little bit about each from our point of view and just something we typically recommend to our clients. So Hannah, I'll have you start off with nutrition. What do you kind of think is the place? It's the new year. People are like, of course, I'm wanting to eat well. But often we try to do, a little too much too quickly, or we don't think it through, or we do kind of things that aren't sustainable. And so yes, I know that you and I both went to the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, and one concept that we learned was crowding out, and the idea of just adding more good foods in will slowly crowd out the other ones. And so what's one or two foods that you recommend that people start adding in this new year?
Yes, I love the concept of crowding out. So if there's one thing I could tell you to start with, I would say green foods of any kind. And I'll get more specific with how to incorporate that, because I know you want to know how to do it, right? So green foods, they have the green color represents the chlorophyll, or it indicates the presence of chlorophyll, which is like a blood cleanser, a blood builder. It has so many detoxification properties that the more green foods, fruits, or mainly vegetables, I guess, that you can get into your body, then that's just going to naturally be cleansing your insides. It's just like an internal cleaner. So the more green foods you can get in, the better. And in my opinion, the easiest way to do that is to make a smoothie. And so if you've never heard of green smoothies, or maybe you have and you've been afraid to try them, you don't have to be afraid to try them, because if you put fruit in with it, you really don't even taste the greens. And so I'll just share, like, my favorite, my go-to breakfast smoothie is a banana, some frozen mango, a handful of spinach, and then a little bit of water to blend it up. And it takes literally like less than 5 minutes to put together. And it's like flooding my body with nutrients. It's jump-starting detoxification and nourishing my cells at the same time. So it's so fast and easy. And I have, like, all my family members are drinking green smoothies now and they love it. And it's a great place to start. And then, and I always tell people, like, if you're still hungry after that, then eat something else. You don't have to.
Oh.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Sorry, everyone. Something happened with my internet. Anyways, Hannah, you were saying about your family having smoothies.
Yes, I was just saying I have, like, all my family members drinking green smoothies, and they love it and they think it tastes good. And so yes, I always say, like, I don't know if I had mentioned this before we cut out, but to not just feel like all you can have in the morning is a smoothie, because I think that's what deters people, is they're like, oh, well, I'll never get full on that, so I'm not going to try it. Well, you can have it first, and then you could have something heavier. You don't have to just be hungry until lunch. So just make it work for you. But the important thing is to get it in. And if you don't want to do smoothies, then maybe try adding some greens to your lunch or your dinner. Just get, like, a big box of mixed greens and find a dressing that you like. Just get them in any way that you can. But green smoothies with fruit, I find, like, you don't even taste the greens. So it's a great place to start if you're not really, if you feel like you're someone who doesn't really like vegetables, it's a good place to begin.
Mm-hmm. And that's so good, because I think for me, when I started too, was just trying to eat more, like, vegetables at every meal. Mm-hmm. And so for us, we do, me and my husband, we do a lot of we do eggs every morning, and we're totally fine with it. I know a lot of people like want a variety, but for our breakfast, we actually, like, if we miss our eggs, like the weekend, we actually make eggs anyway. So we'll tend to add some mushrooms, some green peppers, some spinach, some onions. Those are the 4 that we like the best. And that way, 1, it makes our eggs look bigger. But 2, we're getting the greens in right away. So I love that. Just very simple ways to just add greens more regularly, and make that easier. And so for me, I would say that, so when it comes to food, people we go through proteins bad, carbs bad, fats bad, all those sort of things. Actually, we need all three. But I think a lot of people think they need to cut out every single carb. But one, actually, your fruits and your vegetables, that's actually your carbs, if those are your things. But we don't just need to eat green ones. We do, but there are a lot of great starchy vegetables.
Yes.
Such as butternut squash, such as pumpkin, sweet potato, spaghetti squash, like all of these great ones. And they have so much amazing nutrients. And they're root vegetables. So they actually tend to be thicker and they make you feel fuller, but they're a little sweeter. And because of that, I think often maybe when I used to eat something that if I have like a good sweet potato, I don't actually want dessert or whatever, right?
Yes.
Because I think often when it comes to cravings, if you really deconstruct it, it's sometimes we're missing a nutrient. Sometimes we're actually lacking. And that's why we crave something. And then usually it's the unhealthier version, right?
Right.
And so, they're filled with potassium, magnesium, which our body needs. And, vitamin K, there's so many great things that these things are filled with. And I think just incorporating that more. And, you could do a stir fry in the morning, like a sauteed with your eggs or like a nice, if you want the meat with your vegetables, and then some sweet potato, like grits almost, but with the sweet potato. As well as, I think for us, sometimes easy baking the sweet potato in its skin.
So fast.
Boom, it's there.
Go do something else, come back to it later.
Yeah, and you can then have a baked sweet potato or take it out and make it mashed sweet potato.
Or sweet potato fries, slice it up and put cinnamon and coconut oil.
Yes. So I recommend sweet potato above all else. But, another thing me and my husband have been really loving, butternut squash.
How do you make it?
So peeling it is definitely, you need to be ready.
Yeah.
But we tend to peel it, then chop it up, and then we either bake it or roast it. Forgot what he actually my husband tends to cook this one, and I think we roast it or bake it. I'm pretty sure we bake it with some cinnamon, coconut oil, and then some black pepper and salt. Sometimes you don't do the cinnamon with it, depending on how we're feeling. But butternut squash tastes so good when you do it that way, so good. And it's actually lower if you're worried about your sugar levels or the glycemic index. It's lower on the glycemic index than sweet potato. So you can have more of it for less carbohydrates. Anyway, so we're doing this new thing where we're trying to get a certain amount of carbs and protein and fat, whatever. And we realized we could have so much more butternut squash. And it tasted amazing that we were like, we got to do this. So now what we do, because it takes time to prep, now we just peel it, make a lot of it, freeze it, or bake a lot, and that's our carb for the week. Or there's a lot of grocery stores that are now slicing it and dicing. It's more expensive, but it saves you so much time. So, so I definitely recommend sweet potatoes and butternut squash are some of my favorite. And then plantain, from the Caribbean, we love fried plantain. That's a great one as well. But that is higher if we're talking about, if those listening know anything about like sugars and glycemic index, that's higher on the glycemic index. So you have less of it because it's just higher in carb. But I love those. I love having greens and starchy vegetables together, actually.
They balance each other out so well.
Right. So that's our recommendation. Our recommendation is add more of those in, and then those other things will cut out.
Yep.
So about exercise, what would you recommend for people thinking about exercising this new year?
Yeah. So I know you're going to share some really good ideas too. One of my favorite things that I've been doing, this is like my 10th year. I cannot believe that. I started it in college, but I have a mini trampoline, and yes, it was so funny when I was my 4 other roommates always thought it was so funny because I had this trampoline in the middle of our living room that I would jump on. But not only is it super fun, but it's technically called rebounding. And what it does is like what any exercise does really, but this almost more in a quicker, more targeted way, is it stimulates your lymphatic system, which your lymphatic fluid is basically stagnant unless you're moving. And your lymphatic system moves toxins, so that it can be eliminated from your body. So if you're not exercising, then your lymphatic system isn't moving and toxins just kind of get stuck in your body. So when you're rebounding, you're jumping and you're squeezing your cell. You basically every cell is being squeezed and eliminated, and so the toxins are flowing freely, which doesn't sound that great, but then they're able to come out of your body. So it's just so fun, and it takes like, not only does it cleanse your lymphatic system, but it kickstarts your immune system. And it doesn't take that much time. Like, you can do it as much as you want, but I'll wake up in the morning and I always start my day with a glass of lemon water, apple cider vinegar water. And then I come and I start jumping on my trampoline for 10 minutes. And then I'll do maybe a few, like a little bit of like hand weights or something like that. But I always start with jumping, and it wakes you up. I mean, it gets your endorphins going, and it really kickstarts the cleansing. So I highly recommend that. I wish I had it to show you. It's sitting right out there, but you can get a cheap, like I started just getting one at Target. They make really nice ones, like with safety rails and, that are a little bit nicer, obviously. But you don't have to buy a super high-end one. You can just get a trampoline and start jumping. So good and so fun.
See, and I think one thing that just even goes into what I was going to say, when the first thing I think is finding something you enjoy in regards to exercise. And okay, yeah, a lot of people will say exercise, I don't enjoy it at all, but I'm pretty sure there's some sort of movement. I think I try to say, okay, exercise or movement, just try to move more. And if you find something that can help you move more often and more regularly, that is better than doing nothing at all. And so for me in my journey, the way that I started moving more, finding something that I enjoyed and then doing it consistently is the second thing, is I just started walking around the track, right? It was actually like right down the street from my old apartment. And it would be something I do with my husband at the end of the day. And then I eventually just started picking up, and then eventually started jogging, and then I eventually started running, and then I started running races, and now I'm doing CrossFit, right? And so it's like,
that's awesome.
But I'll tell you, there are some days that I need to make more time for it, because it's actually such a relaxing activity, an active recovery activity for me, that I would just want to go outside and walk, just because it's the ability to keep moving while also doing something restful, like in one, just really gives me life. And I think I just want to recommend people taking a moment and being really honest with themselves. If it's Zumba, do some Zumba. If it's cleaning, you can.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's hard work.
If it's, dancing, if it's DVDs, if it's whatever it is, just try to move more this year and make it a realistic goal. And so that's going to help make it consistent.
Yes, I found I really struggle with this one. The stress piece and the exercise piece are kind of not my weak links, but they're definitely the ones that I have to be intentional about. And one of the reasons for that, why it's so hard for me, is because I really have this all or nothing mindset when it comes to exercise. And I think, oh, well, I have to block off an hour to do all the things, do my arms and my stomach, it's like, and then I literally will go weeks. I'm ashamed to say, but I'll go weeks without doing anything because I feel like I can't block off a whole hour. So you're so right. Like, set a realistic goal, and it doesn't have to mean going to the gym for a whole hour. It could mean walking around your house after dinner, or whatever it is. So
yeah. So I think it's all about, just being very intentional with these small little steps, whether it's, adding fruits and adding green veggies, adding starch, and then adding an exercise you can do that you enjoy, that you don't even know you're moving or doing anything. And so I think having people start there, it makes it so much more approachable, makes it so much more doable, makes it so much more sustainable, because we want you to cleanse and detox for the rest of your life. We don't want it to be just something you do in January. And I love what Hannah said too, like, in all these things, like, that's why I'm talking to Hannah, because I was like, man, that's good. I need to remember to do that.
Same with you.
Yeah. So it's just a matter of, like, we're not perfect either. There are certain areas that we need to, for me in this season, it's actually probably sleep, in the sense I sleep really well, and then I allow myself to just get really busy and then don't sleep well. And so it's like having that consistently abundant sleep. So as we're trying to practice all these things as well. So we just want to encourage you all there. So yeah, that's a little bit to wrap up part 2 around nutrition and exercise. And then, we just want to again share the different offers we have, which does include support around these. So Hannah, I'll make you go first. Maybe talk about your freebie and then your course and your programs around this.
Okay, sure. So on my website of Holistic Thyroid Solutions, there is just a free thyroid balancing guide that just gives you a snapshot of some of the things I work with my clients on. And then I also have, or depending on when you're watching this, I don't know if it'll be out yet or not, but I will have a holistic thyroid care foundations course. So a great starting point if you have a thyroid disease, if you have a diagnosis, or if you are just thinking you're showing symptoms, it's a great place to start to understand what the holistic model even looks like, and just get a little bit more comfortable with trying some of those things, because I know it can be so ingrained in us to just do the conventional route, and really scary to try something different. But you'll find that they can really merge together really well. It's not necessarily either or all the time. So anyway, there is, I have just a self-paced mini course for that. And then from there, I have a short-term 30-day coaching package that really is a jump start. We get you a plan. We look at your lab work. If you have it, it's not required, but we figure out how to get you started eating for thyroid health and lifestyle factors for thyroid health. And then you get to kind of take that and run with it. And then I have a 90-day package, which really, like I mentioned in the first video, is usually the time frame when women really start seeing deep results. And so if you're someone who wants a little more than just a kickstart, but wants someone really walking them through from start to really seeing your symptoms start reducing, then that is a really great opportunity for that as well. So those are kind of my 3 main things that I have going right now.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. And I would say for me, kind of some kind of a free resource is my 5 Whole30 recipes, which has, I think there's a paleo porridge in there. There's a stir fry with cauliflower rice and coconut aminos in there. There's eggs, my favorite scrambled egg recipe, which is what I was telling you it was. I think the spaghetti squash recipe. There's a couple of different recipes that are super simple that literally I make all the time. And that even if you're not going to do the Whole30 or whatever, it's just a great whole food recipe guide. And so that's free, as well as, so that's around the nutrition and exercise. I have like a $7 30-day fitness plan, which is very cardio based in the sense it's literally just like walking, jogging, and I think some jumping jacks, and just creating a plan with you that you could track your fitness through the 30 days. Super simple. And then again, my Whole30 6-week program that's launching January 22nd, that will include weeks on preparing for the Whole30 for those kind of who are just listening in. It's kind of like an elimination diet where you take away certain foods for a while, add them back in to reset to see how your body's doing. And there's 6 different types. Most people think, oh my gosh, there's actually 6 different versions of it you can do depending on your goals. And then we'll talk about nutrition, exercise, stress, sleep, digestion, toxic load, and mindset and habits as well. So definitely look out for that. Go to the link if you want to get started with that. We start the 22nd for the preparation week. And if you're watching this after that, I'll do Whole30 with anyone all throughout the year. It's just, we're doing the specific group, so definitely still check out the link. So thank you, Hannah, for
Thank you.
It's so fun.
Yes.
So fun. So everyone, thanks for listening. Be sure to check out the links and be sure to check next week's on part 3 on stress and sleep.